Hello everyone, welcome in. Violet here, and today we're going to be doing a full moon in Aries reading. So this is going to be a collective reading. We're going to be using the Everyday Witch Tarot and the Oracle of the Dragon Fae, as well as some witches runes. This will be collective, so if you want this for yourself individually, we're going to be going live on Friday and doing these readings, so you can catch one for yourself there if you want to see this like very personal. And this will be a really good one to do that with because we're talking about Aries energy, we're talking about returning to yourself, but also specifically with this. This is the harvest moon, so it was making me think of the concept of harvesting from everything that you have come from and everything that you have been through, and embracing that in the light of the full moon, embracing where you've been as the groundwork that set you up for where you are now and where you're going. So this is recognizing how those experiences have made up this very special recipe that you are. So yeah, I will get this set up and let's go. Alright, so we have our 3 Dragon Fae cards, and I have not looked at these ones yet, and this is going to be talking about ourselves in celebration, celebrating our whole selves that we have become. And this is collective once again, but what we've become from where we've come from. That was an interesting sentence. What we've become from where we've come from. Okay. So we will look at those at the end. And for now, we're going to take these witches runes, and they all have different areas of life and things and messages within them. So we're going to take a look at what we have harvested thus far. What we've harvested thus far. Okay. All right, so let's start here. This is reversed, and this is the moon. So this feels kind of like something that might be hidden for us. It looks like it's also a reversed card. So something, and we'll see what it is, but something that we have been hiding. Maybe this is like a shadow part of ourselves or something we've had difficulty integrating. That's what I'm gonna guess. And yeah, we've got the 10 of Wands. You know, what's immediately coming to mind here is that I feel like there's some shadow here about how much we feel like we have to take on to prove ourselves, or how much pressure that other people may have put on us, or expectations. And it's kind of like the weight of all of these layers of expectations from other people. And some of these things have become very ingrained into us that we almost like don't even realize that this is like a shadow part of our being. We just think that this is normal, or this is what is expected, or this is how we're valuing our worth. And it's like these things sort of pile on. It almost feels like sediment, like it falls to the bottom, and just like as like a layer beneath us is like this heavy thing that's just sort of building up over time. So that's important to recognize, is that, you know, like, you didn't necessarily hand yourself all of these brooms. This is not necessarily coming from you. This is coming from your experiences, but that's been part of this burden that you have taken on, that you've been carrying. I feel like what might be good to look at in reference to this is the Earth message. The Earth message, which looks like it is this card here. Also in reverse, and this one is as well, because it felt like there's this weight. And so to me, this feels like roots. This partially feels like, you know, the roots of where we've come from. Ace of Pentacles reversed. So yeah, it's a sense of lack of value. And this has something to do with your roots, where you came from. And maybe it's like maybe it's this. It almost feels like, this feels ancestral too. It feels like the the reason why you came into this certain like family that you came into, this is collective, so this is across the board, and we all experience this in different ways, but maybe the reason that you came into this family that you came into this environment that you came into, is that there was some sort of thing that was lacking, some sort of lesson, some sort of experience that you needed to like make sense, or to like set yourself into the path that is going towards your purpose in the future. But in coming into this void, because you were needed. Your specific soul, your specific energy was needed to come into this void. But a part of you took that void on and took it as a part of your identity. So you identified with the void and you said, this is why I'm not worth as much as how you might see other people, specific other people, how you might see like the ideal version of yourself. This is why I lack that worth. And so then slowly over time, that's how that relates to this card here that we just talked about. So that's really interesting. And I see the sun up right here, and I want to go towards that next, because this is talking about like areas that you shine. You shine in your life. And this could also be shining light on what, part of your purpose is, or like what you've noticed. You've noticed a specific talent for. You've noticed that you feel excited by, or it gives you a sense of strength, a sense of purpose. Oh, the Fool. How beautiful. So this is, gosh, if we're talking about ancestry now, I feel like this spread is just like really focusing in on this thing. If we're talking about this void, right? And you came in here to fill a certain void and to like let that launch you towards what it is that you wanted to go to. This Fool, first of all, is kind of embracing the void, but it's like the ways that you have set off on your own path, the ways that you've allowed yourself to be different, the ways that you've had this sense of childlike inspiration and wonder that's kind of opened up other worlds for you and other possibilities for you. Those are the areas of your life that you were like, whatever this lack was, you're like flying into that void and finding instead like another world of your making. I hope that's making sense. But it just feels like this like opening up of possibilities from you being brave and setting on your own path. And the Fool is normally not carrying much with them. So it feels like a bit of an antidote to this shadow energy that you've also had as part. There's always going to be a shadow and a light. So here we go. The moon and the sun, this makes a lot of sense. The light part is freedom. It's leaving some things behind and setting some of that baggage down and launching and flying towards what it is that you want to do and you feel inspired to do. Versus this energy, which was being weighed down by outside expectations and saying, I'm not worthy, or I have not met those expectations. All right, so this makes me want to pull this card next, especially because it's right next to this card, and this is a reversed card. This has to do with love and commitment. So it feels to me like ways that people have let us down. This could be family. This could be romantic, but important connections in your life that have let you down. We do have a reverse card here. What? Stop! We have the reverse Lovers card here. So yeah, this is just across the board. I mean, this is a collective reading. You have experienced heartbreak. You've experienced betrayal. You've experienced what you thought had the potential to be love, or maybe it was like a way that you even saw the good parts of yourself into another person, and then it's been shattered. And so that could also be part of what's built up the sediment, this shadow, is that in you seeing the goodness of yourself mirrored back in a person, and then that person betraying you or breaking your heart. It's almost like that part of yourself shattered too, but since, you know, we're talking about what we've harvested and what we've been through and how we're going to take this forward, we'll see when we look at what these cards are, but I bet you anything that calling back these parts of yourself and mending this broken heart and putting those pieces back together that shattered, that's going to be part of what makes you strong and brave and powerful going forward and in the future. So yeah, that makes me want to go to this card. This almost feels like the counter to this. The opposite is this like death rune, this reaping, this letting go. It's also a reversed card. So it feels like things that maybe have also walked out of your life, or at what you've had to experience a release of. You've had to feel the void of something else. And we have the King of Swords. You know what this feels like to me? Once again, this is collective. This is a universal experience. It's someone that you looked up to as like a wise elder, or a wise, like a person, an authority figure in your life. That's more so it than it could have been an elder, but it's definitely someone who is an authority figure in your life, probably older than you, because this is something that often happens, like when you're younger, and then you realize that this person you looked up to, they don't have the answers. Or maybe they were even wrong about something, or maybe they were even abusive towards you, or behaved inappropriately towards you. Oh my gosh, have I had that experience, you know? Realizing that this person that you maybe idolized, maybe you wanted to align the way you thought with how they seem to think. And maybe it still reverberates and it still affects you. I mean, we're harvesting things. It's certainly, I can think of a couple examples of this in my life. There's a reason why this person had to fall for you, why you had to feel the fall of what you expected this person to be, however that means to you. Like, there was a reason for that as well. The train's going by. So let's look at water next. I don't want to mess up the other runes. This one's here, this one's here. Okay. Let's look at water. So this is emotions and this is flow. And we have the Page of Pentacles. I see this as a look at this person with a map in front of them. The paths that you've set yourself on, or maybe that we're talking about flow and water, maybe you've almost been like led into them or sort of pushed into them, or maybe the current has just taken you towards this path. So maybe it's something that, like, you know, a lot of people around you were doing, so you kind of like followed the current and went towards it. The Page of Pentacles, this feels especially related to kind of those like those very practical aspects of life, like job, house, health, those sorts of things. And this is a realization, I think, two things. One, that a lot of where you've been, if you do feel like you've made some mistakes, or you feel like, you know, there are things that aren't quite aligned with you, with your heart, which I think is the second part of the message, is the emotions and the heart of water, and like bringing that into these more practical areas of life. But if you feel like you've kind of gone down paths that weren't suited for you, for one, I think that's part of your journey. This is upright. Like, all of these steps, they're like pebble stones along the path. They were necessary. But also recognize you might have been following the flow and the current of collectively what people around you were doing. And this is not something to entirely blame yourself if you realize later, like, actually what I was doing to how I was treating my body wasn't right, or how I was the path that I went down towards career wasn't exactly right, or where I decided to settle myself, I had to make a big change, and that wasn't right. This is like, don't blame yourself for that. For one, you are taking the collective energy and the collective patterns, you're alchemizing them, and in the directions that you move into as the Fool, as taking your own ingenuity and excitement and inspiration, when you go down those paths, you're alchemizing that for other people, and you're opening up other doors for other people. So I think that that's important here. And so this is saying like, all right, don't forget to look at what your emotions, so your gut and your heart, your emotions, what they actually tell you about where you're at or the path that you've chosen in these different areas of life, because that intuitive, more flowing, watery part of yourself is going to give you more information than, once again, what the expectations are of others, what they've set you up to do, essentially. So we've got fire and we've got air left. So water kind of makes me want to go to air and then go to fire. So let's do that. All right, so this is a reversed, it's an upside down rune and a reverse card. So let's take a look. We have the Hermit in reverse. Okay, so I think that these are instances in which we've let our mind, our sort of mental chatter, our anxieties, our confusions, our fear, that very much might be, coming from actually like this very like mind thought oriented realm that spins us into loops about what could happen or what did happen, etc. When we let that block out the truth from the light of the Hermit card, the truth of when you're by yourself, what is it that you actually think and feel, or what is the actual truth of the situation? When you quiet the mind, what is it that rises up? What is it that's left? But I do think that once again, we're harvesting this. This is part of what has made us who we are. So we've had the experience of letting our minds trick us. That's an important experience to have. And in experiencing that, we can actually turn this card around and know what it really is to be mindful and to slow down and to listen and to trust, and to find the truth within. So I think that that's the importance of that message here. Now we also have here, we've got reversed fire. We have an upright card, and it's the Nine of Pentacles. Wow, I think that this feels like that sort of burning desire feeling. I feel like we've had to experience the burning desire of things that, with the Nine of Pentacles, once again, this might be more so like material desires, kind of like what society sets us up, but it could also be, since this is collective, I think that collectively this is going on with the fire in reverse, this could also be a sense of power. Nine of Pentacles, I really see this as being like, all right, here's you like living within your desires. And what I'm thinking here is that in the areas that you have accomplished some of those desires, and we're talking more so, once again, the kind of material level, or something that's more so rooted in like ego or power, that when you've gotten there, the fire's in reverse, it wasn't what you thought it would be. It didn't fill that void we were talking about in the new moon reading. It didn't fill that void. So then you perhaps almost felt more lost. But hey, that was a really important realization to come to. So that kind of aligns back to when we were saying, hey, it wasn't like a mistake. It wasn't a mistake to go down whatever this particular path was, because these are the stepping stones. So realizing, all right, I got that thing, or I accomplished that X, Y, and Z, and it didn't fill that void. Then we go back to that Hermit card about, all right, let's get in touch with what that void is. So if you didn't hear the last, I feel like that's really relevant to the last reading, the Virgo new moon reading. So like definitely check that out if so. So now we're gonna look at our Dragon Fae Oracle cards and see what it is that all of this harvesting, all of this path has brought us to. and what it is that we can really celebrate and what it is that we can really go towards about ourselves. We have Lady Titania with Be Joyful. We have the Hideki's Door with A Knock on the Door. And we've got Gaia's Dragon with Divine Union. Wow. So I see this as being, I see this knock on the door as actually, to me, this card in this context is talking about like that sort of divine, like, hey, come check out what's in this direction. Come look behind this, maybe what you could have perceived as a barrier, but actually it's a door. It's like, knock, knock, knock. Is those little taps that you might be getting from your guides. So this is affirming that, like, yes, you've gotten to the point where maybe you are ready to cross through a threshold and find that divine union. This is, I actually see this as referring to this whole process of unifying with those parts of yourself, those pieces of yourself that have been left in different like experiences and memories and areas of your life, unifying with those. And in doing so, you are more unified as a whole yourself. And also, this could also lead you to a more fulfilling partnership too. So divine union, a knock on the door, and then be joyful. But I see this as being a grounded joy, especially with the earth energy of this card. It's funny, I kind of want to put these like in this order that we have in the middle this joy. It's grounded, but it's also being led towards something. So it's, I hope that this is making sense. It's not spinning off into ecstasy of something that takes you out of your body. No, this is a grounded joy, unified with your body. And from that place, you know that what's knocking, what the joy might be anticipating, might be leading, you might be leaping towards it in a joyful way. You're leaping towards that knock to answer it. You know that it's the right energy that's knocking on your door because of being grounded within yourself. I hope that makes sense. Let me know what you think of this collective reading. I feel like, of course, like addressing all of these different things, we went in a lot of different directions and hopefully pretty deep. But what I overall want you to take from this is that where you've been, this was the spirit message going into making this video, making this reading, is that where you've been very much has made you who you are, and that is something to celebrate. So let me know what you think. I would love to hear what you have to say in the comments below or in the chat, of course. I forgot to say hello to everyone watching this as a premiere. Happy full moon, everyone. If you would like this reading for yourself, it will be available on Friday. And otherwise, have a wonderful week. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.